Hi, boys and girls. It's week 3 in Lent. Father Mike, Chip, and I are super excited to be with you guys again.
Yeah!
Are you ready to learn more about some disciples, Chip?
Yeah, I've been learning a lot.
Good. So, Chip, what is a disciple?
If I remember correctly, it's a student, somebody who follows Jesus.
That's right. A disciple is a student who learned from Jesus, and then later they became teachers themselves.
Yeah.
Right? Or at least most of them did. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I was asking you just to see if you remembered, and you did, and I'm so proud of you, Chip. And I bet all the other boys and girls watching remember what a disciple is. So
I hope so. Yeah.
A student.
They follow Jesus.
They follow Jesus. Well, let's review the 6 that we've talked about so far, okay?
Yeah.
We had Andrew, James, and John. What were they?
They fished for people.
They fished for people. That's right. They were fishermen, and then they became fishers of people. Very good, Chip. And then
Yeah, because I said last time that they fished for chimpanzees, but that wasn't right.
Chip, I just love you. Okay, now last week, do you remember who we talked about? We talked about Peter, Judas Iscariot, and Thomas. And
yeah,
they were 3 guys who kind of like messed up. And then 2 of them said, you know what, I'm really sorry. But one of them, he never admitted he was wrong.
And we never heard from him again, did we?
No, we didn't. But the 2 that were sorry, they said, Jesus, will you forgive me? And what happened?
Jesus forgave them.
He did forgive them. We are so glad.
And they became really important people, didn't they?
They did become really important people. Yes. That's right. Jesus forgave them. And so that was really cool. Now, this week, we're going to talk about Simon, Matthew, and James.
Wait a minute, Miss Lori. We already talked about James. I remember that. Are you testing me? Is this a test? Because I'm a student.
I'm actually not testing you. You are so right. We did talk about James. We talked about James, the son of Zebedee, and he was a fisherman, and he was the brother of John, right?
Yeah, that's a guy.
And he what?
That's the guy.
That's the guy. Yeah, that's the guy. Well, that's not the guy we're going to talk about today.
No.
Nope. There's another James. Yeah. Can you believe that?
Another one?
They had the same
How
name.
will I tell the difference?
Well, this one is called James, the son of Alphaeus, and he was also referred to as James the Lesser.
Oh. Lesser?
Lesser.
Like little?
Like little. That's exactly what I was going to say. Well, you know what? Let's just start talking about James. James, he was little, and maybe he was kind of overlooked. He might have been like the youngest in his family. So he was called James the Lesser.
That's kind of like me. I'm a little guy, and a lot of people look over me because I'm so little, and that doesn't feel good.
It doesn't feel good, but just because you're little doesn't mean you're not important, right?
Really?
Really. You're important, Chip, and we are so glad that you're helping us learn about disciples. See, you have a very big role. You're helping children learn.
That is important.
It is important. And so even though we don't know a whole lot about James the Lesser, we do know that he was one of the 12 disciples, that he was chosen by Jesus to be a follower, right?
That's important.
That's important. And we know that he was with Jesus during the Last Supper. And we're going to learn
more. Super important.
That's super, super important. That's right. And we're going to learn more about the Last Supper later. Miss Margaret's going to give us a lesson about that and another time. But we also know that some people who studied God's word believe that James the Lesser was the first disciple to see Jesus after he rose from the dead.
Whoa, a little guy got to see Jesus rise from the dead first?
That's right. That sounds.
Why don't they call him James the First?
Well, we could call him James the First, but no, we called him James the Lesser. I know.
Because he's little.
Because he's little. Well, and do you know how we know or we think that it was James? that saw
I
Jesus
don't even know
first?
that, Miss Lori.
You don't? Well, guess what? In our
No.
Bible, in the book called First Corinthians, chapter 15, verse 7, it says, and then he appeared to James, then to all the disciples. So it tells us in First Corinthians that James, and we're pretty sure it was James the Lesser, was the first one to see Jesus after he rose from the dead.
Hey, Father Mike.
Yeah, Chip. What?
Miss Lori found something you didn't even know.
That's right. Father Mike doesn't know everything, and I'm glad Miss Lori's teaching me too.
Yeah, me too. We're both students.
Yeah, we are. We're both students for Miss Lori. That's right.
You know what? We're never too old to learn. We're always students, always learning, and that's cool. I'm so glad I got to share that with Father Mike as well as you, Chip.
Yeah.
So it would be pretty cool to be able to say, yeah, you were the first. James the Lesser was the first one to see him.
Yeah.
Okay, well, now let's talk about Simon. Simon was called a zealot.
What's that?
A zealot. Well, he was part of like a group of bullies.
I don't like bullies.
No, bullies aren't nice. And this group of people thought that, you know, if they bullied people into believing about Jesus, that was the way to do it. But that's
no good. I think Jesus used love.
right. Jesus did use love, and we should always treat people in a loving way and not be bullies. It's not a very nice thing. And so why would Jesus do that? Why would he call a zealot to follow him?
Wow. Maybe
Because
maybe he's gave up being a bully.
I think he did. I think you're so right. Jesus knew that he could even get somebody who was a bully and who was mean to follow him and change his ways and show the love of God to other people. And that's exactly what happened. So Simon, he left the zealots and he started following Jesus. And we don't know a lot else about him, just like we don't know a lot about James the Lesser, but we do know again that he was one of the 12 disciples that was with Jesus during the Last Supper.
Oh, that's important. Hey, Miss Lori.
Yeah.
Do you think that maybe some of the bullies that go to my school, maybe they could learn about the love of Jesus if I told them about it?
Absolutely, they could learn the love of Jesus. Yes.
Oh.
Okay, that's important that Jesus even wants people who give up being bullies to follow him.
It is important, and we do want that to happen. And we can love bullies even if they are bullies, and we can show them Jesus's love, and then hopefully they'll do just like Simon, and they'll change their ways, and they'll follow Jesus.
Yeah, Miss Lori?
Yes.
You're profound.
Profound. That's a big word for these boys and girls who are watching us to hear. What do you think that means?
I don't know. It was just on the sign outside of my school that we're supposed to be profound.
Okay. Well,
what does that mean?
Huh?
What does that mean? Hey, Father Mike, do you know what profound means?
Yeah. Oh, profound. I think that means that they've said something that's very insightful and very smart.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Miss Lori was profound.
I was insightful. That's really cool. Well, now that we know that I'm insightful, let's talk about Matthew, the third disciple that we were going to talk about today.
Yeah.
Matthew was a tax collector in Capernaum. And you know what? Most people didn't like tax collectors.
Wait.
What's even worse? He was a dishonest tax collector. That means he was a cheater.
Oh, no. Cheater. I don't like people who are cheaters.
No, we don't like people who are cheaters either. And just like we were talking earlier, why would Jesus call people who don't seem like the right kind of people? It's because he knew that no matter who you are or what you've done, you can ask for forgiveness and you can become a follower of Jesus and be forgiven.
Okay, so even people who are cheaters can say they're sorry and they can follow Jesus?
They can.
Oh, neat.
And so that's what Matthew did. He left everything and he obeyed Jesus. He realized that Jesus was someone worth following and learning from. And Matthew, he was excited to become a student of Jesus, right? He gave up his life to serve and follow Jesus. And do you know what else? He wrote one of the books in the Bible. Do you know which book he wrote? Think about his
Is there a
name.
book called Tax Collector?
No, it's not a book called Tax Collector. Think about this. Who were the 4 Gospels?
Matthew, Mark, and Luke, and John.
Right. And so Matthew, the first guy you said, Matthew wrote a gospel. He was one of our Gospels.
That's cool.
That is cool. Okay, so now we've learned about 3 more disciples. And you know what? This week it was kind of hard to figure out what our theme was going to be. And I finally decided to use the word outsiders.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
because sometimes bullies are on the outside
mhm.
and cheaters are on the outside, and even people who are little are left on the outside from getting picked in the game of kickball.
That's right. People are left off, but you know, it's okay. It's okay that you're an outsider and you're left out sometimes, because sometimes you end up being really important in the end, right? And that's what happened. Jesus picked them and decided that, you know what, I'm going to choose you to follow me and become one of my 12 disciples who attended the Last Supper.
Whoa. Hey, Miss Lori.
Hey.
Can sometimes outsiders become insiders with Jesus?
Absolutely. They
Yeah.
can. Yes.
I want to be an insider.
Me too. Let's be
Yeah.
insiders. I love it. Well, wow. So Jesus chose people who we never would have thought he would choose to become followers of Jesus. And I believe that we could all become a disciple of Jesus too.
Yeah, anybody can. If bullies can, and cheaters can, and little people like me can.
That's right. Anybody can. So, wow. Another great lesson about disciples, right, Chip?
Yeah, you're profound.
I'm going to go with that word that'll be our word for the week, profound.
Wait, I'm looking. I can see in your lap. Do you have a friend in your lap?
I do have a friend in my lap. Look, this is my friend. This is Miles.
That's a buddy. That's Miles. I know Miles. I love Miles.
This is Miles.
Hi, Miles. Chip, it's me. It's Chip. Hey, give me a call, okay?
Hey, okay. Well, Miles and Chip, let's say bye-bye to all the boys and girls.
See
Tell
you
them
guys.
they need to paint their wooden figures, right, Chip? Are you still painting your disciples?
Yeah, still working on it.
Yeah? Okay, well, let's keep painting. I can't wait to see everybody's when we're done with all this, all right? We'll see you next week. Bye, boys.
See you guys. Thank you so much. Bye, everybody.
Bye, Father.
See ya.
Bye, Chip.